You think blurry vision in the morning is a small issue. You think having to hold a menu right up to your face is normal. You think being blinded by headlights at night is just part of getting older. But the truth is very different. 94% of Americans over the age of 65 are making the same deadly vision mistake, and if you nodded yes to any of those signs, you are already in that group. I'll be blunt, this is not a lighting problem. It's not 'cause restaurants are too dim, and it's not 'cause everyone gets like this with age. This is a silent process of visual degeneration happening night after night inside your eyes. When you wake up with blurry vision, it's not 'cause you didn't sleep enough, it's 'cause your retina was damaged while you slept. You are slowly losing your ability to read, losing your ability to drive at night, losing confidence every time you leave the house. And the most dangerous part is this. You are accepting it as a normal part of aging. That belief is destroying your vision faster than any disease. Look directly at the consequences. When you can't read a menu, you have to ask for help. When you can't drive, you become dependent. When you can't clear see your grandchild's face, you lose a piece of your life. Vision is not just eyesight, it is freedom, dignity, and personal independence. Do not comfort yourself by thinking it's not that serious yet. Every severe case of vision loss begins with small signs of this. No pain, no bleeding, no dramatic warning, just a little more blur each morning, a little more glare each night, until one day a doctor looks at you and says the damage is already done. And then you're offered the familiar solutions, drops, stronger glasses, expensive procedures. But those do not reverse the root cause, they only help you adapt to the loss. I am not talking about hiding symptoms, I am talking about intervening at the exact moment your eyes are supposed to repair themselves while you sleep. Here's the truth few people are willing to say. Nighttime is when your eyes are most vulnerable. If your retina is not properly nourished during those hours, damage accumulates silently without you noticing. And by the time you do, the cost is high. You have two choices. One is to keep telling yourself this is just aging and wait until there is no turning back. The other is to face the truth right now, while you still have a chance to protect your vision, your independence, and your life. What I'm about to share next is not a temporary fix, not a trick, not an empty promise. It directly targets the reason your eyes are weakening while you sleep. And if you want to keep reading on your own, driving on your own, and living life on your own terms, you need to keep listening. Earlier, you heard about the mistake that is silently stealing vision from millions of older adults. Now I'm going to show you how brutal it becomes when it hits a real burn. Robert is 72 years old, a retired commercial pilot from Phoenix, Arizona. For more than 30 years, he sat in the cockpit, flying massive aircraft through storms, landing in conditions most people would never dare to face. His eyesight was his lifeline. Without vision, he had no career, no pride, no identity. Last March, his ophthalmologist looked him straight in the eye and delivered a short, cold sentence: early-stage macular degeneration. 6 months later, if it progressed, he would need injections directly into his eye, not once. Each injection cost $1,500, repeated every 6 to 8 weeks, for the rest of his life. More than $10,000 a year, year after year. That was the price just to slow down vision that was already dying. But the money wasn't what broke him. Around the same time, Robert failed his vision test and lost his driver license. The first time, he lied to himself. He thought he was just tired. 3 months later, he took the test again, failed a second time. That was the moment he knew something serious was taking his life away. A man who once flew jets across oceans was now unable to drive himself to the grocery store. He had to ask his wife to read menus at restaurants. He squinted to watch his grandkids play soccer and still missed half of it. Every day, his independence was torn away piece by piece, quietly, slowly, humiliatingly. You need to hear this clearly. Blurry vision is not just about eyesight. It destroys self-respect. It strips away his control. It turns someone who once ruled the skies into someone who must ask for help with the simplest tasks. Robert didn't believe in natural solutions. He thought fruit could never compete with modern medicine. But when he was staring down a lifetime of needles going straight into his eyes, he ran out of options. He tried it, not because he believed, but because he was desperate. That decision led to something even his doctor couldn't explain. What happened next is exactly why you need to keep listening. If you think this is just Robert's story, you're wrong. This is the future waiting for millions of people who are ignoring the warning signs right now. If you think your eyes are resting while you sleep, you are lying to yourself. Nighttime is when your vision is being destroyed the fastest. Not when you read, not when you watch TV, but when you are lying still in bed believing your body is recovering. During deep sleep, your retina does not always receive enough oxygen. The tiny capillaries thin than a human hair that are responsible for keeping your visual cells alive begin to slow down. Some narrow, some become temporarily blocked. When that happens, the photoreceptor cells, the cells that allow you to see faces, read small print, and handle low light, start dying from lack of oxygen and nutrients. This process is silent. No pain, no warning. It does not wake you up. You feel nothing. But night after night, the damage accumulates. Then you wake up with blurrier vision than the day before. You blink repeatedly to clear your eyes. You tell yourself, it's just dryness. But it isn't. At nighttime, damage share its first signs. Then one day, you can't read the same line on the eye chart anymore, or you fail a vision test, or your doctor says a word that changes everything: macular degeneration. By that point, the truth is harsh. The damage has been building for months, sometimes years, without you realizing it. This is why eye drops don't fix the problem. This is why stronger glasses don't stop vision loss. You are trying to fix the damage during the day, while the real cause happens at night. If you don't protect your eyes while you sleep, every other solution is just temporary patchwork. Here is the part most people don't want to hear. The majority of older adults are unknowingly sabotaging their eyes' ability to repair themselves every single night. Not because they are reckless, but because their retinas are missing exactly what they need during sleep. Not enough oxygen, not the right nutrients, no raw materials for repair. But listen carefully. Nighttime damage is not always irreversible. In no cases, this process can be stopped and even reversed in as little as 3 weeks. 3 weeks, not years, not a lifetime. The problem is that 91% of people do it wrong. They consume the right thing but throw away the most powerful part. They believe they are helping their eyes, when in reality, they are removing the very compounds their retinas need most at night. If you are waking up with blurry vision, if your eyesight is declining faster than it used to, and if you don't want to hear the words "it's too late" one day, then you need to keep listening, because how you nourish your eyes while you sleep will determine how long you are able to see clear. You can comment your age or leave one if this topic relates to you. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos, and share this video if you truly find it helpful. If you're using eye drops every day, upgrading to thicker glasses, or telling yourself that surgery or fix everything, I need to say this clearly. You're treating the wrong problem. Eye drops that cost $60 a bottle only wet the surface of your eyes. They do not nourish your retina. They do not save the visual cells that are slowly dying. New glasses that cost $300 to $400 may help you see a little better today, but they do nothing to make your eyes stronger tomorrow. And cataract surgery, even at $10,000 to $15,000, only replaces what is already damaged. It does not stop the degeneration still happening inside your eyes. All of this is just putting a bandage on a bullet wound. The outside looks managed. Inside, the damage keeps spreading. Look honestly at the vicious cycle millions of older adults are trapped in. Vision declines. You get stronger glasses. A few months later, it declines again. You change prescriptions or add medication. Eventually, you're told surgery is the only option left. This cycle never ends because the real cause is never addressed. You are not losing vision because you lack glasses. You are not going blind because you lack medication. Your eyesight is deteriorating because your eye cells are being damaged at the cellular level, night after night. A major study published in JAMA Ophthalmology in 2023, conducted by researchers at Harvard Medical School, made this painfully clear. Age-related retinal damage does not begin with symptoms. It begins with silent cellular changes, oxidative deaths, free radicals attacking cells, and chronic low-grade inflammation inside the eye. You feel no pain. You receive no warning. But the damage continues. And that is the most dangerous part. These destructive processes are most active at night. Exactly when your eyes should be repairing themselves, they are instead starved of oxygen, nutrients, and the raw materials needed for recovery. No antioxidants, no protective compounds, nothing to rebuild what was damaged during the day. That's why no amount of eye drops, new glasses, or surgeries can stop vision loss if your eyes are still nutritionally starved at night. The decline may be slower, but it is relentless. This is why so many people are still blurry after surgery, still worsening after new prescriptions, still returning to the doctor again and again, not because doctors are incompetent, but because the root cause has never been addressed. You need to understand this. Your eyes have a natural nighttime repair cycle. If that cycle fails, every daytime solution is nothing more than a temporary delay for further vision loss. This is the line in the sand. Either you stay on the vision care industry treadmill paying year after year while your eyesight continues to fade, or you go after the real cause destroying your eyes while you sleep. What comes next is not about helping you adapt to worse vision, it's about stopping the degeneration itself. And if you don't want your future to revolve around glasses, medications, and clinics, you need to keep listening. If driving at night feels dangerous because headlights blind you, if you wake up with blurry, dry eyes that take minutes to clear, I'll be direct. Your retina is under heavy oxidative stress, and this damage happens not during the day, but while you sleep. As you age, the retina, the thin layer at the back of your eye, becomes extremely fragile. Every day it's attacked by blue light, free radicals, and oxidation. But at night, when your eyes are supposed to repair themselves, many people don't have the nutrients required for recovery. The result is predictable: blurrier mornings, harsher glare at night, slower adjustment in the dark. No pain, just rapid decline. Here what surprises most people: a small, inexpensive, often overlooked fruit, kiwi, can directly interfere with this process. Kiwi is not a casual fruit. For your retina, it functions like a targeted multivitamin. Kiwi contains lutein and zeaxanthin, the exact pigments that form the macular protective layer. Without this layer, blue light strikes your visual cells directly every night. Lutein and zeaxanthin act in biological sunglasses, 20 Wave sans proteger with nutrients. Gene, Kimbini. If before thin on you metal if you eat it casually, but when used correctly and consistently, it can be the first step in stopping nighttime vision decline. Not with drugs, not with injections, but by feeding your retina when it needs support the most while you sleep. If nighttime glare is getting worse, if your vision is declining faster than it used to, this is not information to ignore. These are warning signs your retina is under attack. Kiwi may be the starting point for protecting the vision you still have. In the previous part, you saw what happens when the retina is starved of nutrients during sleep. Now I need to address a problem millions of older adults experience, and almost everyone misunderstands. You wake up in the morning with sticky, dry, blurry eyes, and it takes 15 to 20 minutes before things look clear. You tell yourself I'm going to be direct. This is a sign that blood circulation to your eyes is breaking down. As you age, the blood vessels that feed your eyes become stiff and less elastic, damaged by chronic inflammation and high blood pressure. At night, blood flow drops. Your retina does not receive enough oxygen or nutrients. When morning comes, your eyes feel like they've been starved overnight. This is not a feeling, this is physiology. If this continues, visual cells weaken. First, you're blurry in the morning, then during the day, then glare at night, and eventually vision loss begins quietly without warning. Hear what most people don't expect. Watermelon, something simple, cheap, and familiar, targets this problem directly. Watermelon is over 90% water, helping rehydrate cells after a long night. But more importantly, it's rich in lycopene. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant linked to retinal protection, lens protection, and slower progression of macular degeneration. But the real key is this: watermelon increases nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens tiny capillaries. When capillaries open, blood flow improves. Oxygen reaches the retina. Nutrients reach visual cells. Your eyes are finally being fed while you sleep. Observational data shows that people who eat watermelon regularly tend to have higher blood levels of lutein and zeaxanthin, meaning their retinal protective layer is stronger and more resilient against light and oxidative deaths. But if you do this wrong, you cancel the benefit. Eat 1 to 2 cups of seedless watermelon about 30 minutes before bed, not right before sleep. You don't want to be up all night. Never add salt. Salt raises intraocular pressure, a major risk factor highlighted by glaucoma research organizations. Adding salt is like squeezing your eyes from the inside. Do not throw away the white rind near the green skin. That part contains citrulline. Your body converts citrulline into arginine, which then produces nitric oxide. Throwing it away means throwing away your ability to open blood vessels to the eyes. You don't need the hard green skin, but the white part matters. If your vision is blurry every morning, if you need many minutes before you can see clear, do not accept that abnormal aging. It is a signal that your retina is lacking blood and oxygen. Used correctly, watermelon can restore circulation, reduce morning blur, and make your eyes feel clearer within weeks. No drugs, no injections, just feeding your eyes when they need it most. At night. In the previous parts, you saw what happens when the eyes are starved of oxygen and blood flow. Now we move into a more dangerous stage, when microvascular inflammation and photoreceptor cell damage begin to eat away at your vision from the inside. If headlights at night explode into halos, if your eyes struggle to adjust when you move from light into darkness, if everything mix washed out in low light, this is not your glasses. This is retinal inflammation and reduced blood flow. Let's start with black currant fruit number 5. Inflammation inside the tiny blood vessels of the retina does not cause pain. You don't feel it, but it narrows the vessels, reduces blood supply, and starves the optic nerve. When this continues, your visual field shrinks, and once it's gone, it does not come back. Black currant targets this directly because it is rich in anthocyanins. These are not ordinary antioxidants. Anthocyanins dilate blood vessels, increase blood flow, reduce inflammation, and most importantly, support the regeneration of rhodopsin, the visual pigment that allows your eyes to function in darkness. When rhodopsin weakens, night vision collapses and glare becomes overwhelming. A randomized placebo-controlled study in glaucoma patients showed that taking 50 milligrams of blackcurrant anthocyanins daily for 24 months significantly improved blood flow to the optic nerve head and slowed the progression of visual field loss compared to placebo. Note dosage and duration. Another study showed blackcurrant helps normalize endothelin-1, a compound that constricts blood vessels. When endothelin-1 is controlled, retinal circulation stabilizes. Now let's talk about blueberry fruit number 4, and this is where most people unknowingly sabotage their own eyes. Blueberries target oxidative DNA damage inside photoreceptor cells. When the DNA inside these cells is damaged, you experience blurry vision even with glasses, poor night vision, and chronic eye fatigue. Blueberries are rich in pterostilbene, a compound similar to resveratrol but far more bioavailable. It can cross the blood-retina barrier and repair cellular damage from the inside, something very few nutrients can do. A study published in Nutritional Neuroscience in 2023 found that older adults who consumed wild blueberries daily for 12 weeks achieved a 32% improvement in visual acuity. Note study outcome. This was not subjective, it was measured. But here's the critical mistake: when you mix blueberries with milk or yogurt, the proteins bind to anthocyanins and block absorption. Your retina never receives the nutrients. You think you're helping your eyes, but you're actually shutting the door on repair. The correct method is wild blueberries, frozen and lightly thawed, eaten before bed. Freezing breaks down cell walls, making antioxidants far more bioavailable, so while you sleep, your retina can actually access what it needs to repair itself. If night glare is getting worse, if darkness seems to swallow your vision faster each year, this is not the stage to ignore the signs. Inflammation and oxidative damage are progressing silently, and once photoreceptor cells are gone, no glasses or surgery can bring them back. Used correct, blackcurrant and blueberry can slow and, in cases, halt this process. Not with tricks, but by directly targeting inflammation, circulation, and DNA damage in your retina while you sleep. If you sleep a full 7-8 hours and still wake up with heavy, tired, blurry eyes, I'll be very clear. The problem is not your sleep. The problem is that your eyes are not getting enough oxygen while you sleep. During deep sleep, blood pressure drops and heart rate slows, circulation to peripheral organs decreases. The eyes are among the first to be deprived of oxygen. At that point, the retina enters a condition known as retinal hypoxia, oxygen starvation of the retina. Lack of oxygen does not cause pain. It does not wake you up at night, but it slowly suffocates visual cells hour by hour. At first, you wake up with heavy, blurry eyes. Then you notice reduced contrast, weaker peripheral vision. And if this continues, people experience permanent vision loss in one eye without understanding why. This is why people sleep enough, sometimes even more than enough, yet their vision declines rapidly. And here is what almost no one expects. Red flesh dragon fruit, not the white flesh kind, deep red flesh only. Red dragon fruit contains beta-carotenoids, a rare group of antioxidants that stimulate nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is what opens the tiny capillaries in the retina. When these capillaries open, blood flow improves, oxygen reaches visual cells, and nighttime repair can finally occur. Without nitric oxide, your retina is like a sealed room. No fresh air gets in, no matter how long you sleep. A study published in Frontiers in Aging Biology in 2022 showed that participants who consumed red dragon fruit extract for 6 weeks experienced a 26% increase in ocular oxygen levels, along with significant improvements in contrast sensitivity and visual field depth. Note duration and percentage. They could see better in low light and blurry vision was noticeably reduced. The method is simple. Eat half of a red flesh dragon fruit about 1 hour before bed. No more is needed, but there is one critical rule. Chew the small black seeds thoroughly. These seeds contain omega-3 fatty acids and magnesium, both essential for repairing retinal nerve tissue. Swallowing them whole means losing most of the benefit, and I'll say it again. White flesh dragon fruit does not work the same way. If the flesh isn't deep red, you're eating it for fullness, not for your eyes. If you wake up with tired eyes despite enough sleep, if your peripheral vision is weakening, if low light feels harder to handle than 4, these are signs your retina is starving for oxygen. Used directly, red dragon fruit can help your eyes truly breathe again while you sleep. Not with drugs, not with procedures, but by restoring oxygen to tissue that has been quietly suffocating for years. If the center of the text is starting to blur, if the face in front of you no longer looks sharp, I'll be direct. Your macula is thinning. And once this area is damaged, you lose the most critical part of vision, central vision. The macula is the heart of the retina. It allows you to read small print, recognize faces, see color accurately, and remain independent in daily life. When the macula weak, everything else becomes secondary. You may still detect light, but you lose the ability to truly see your life. The underlying problem is long-term oxidative stress and poor circulation. Over time, the macular protective pigment erodes. Blue light strikes the center of the retina directly. Cells are damaged, images become blurred and distorted. This is the direct path toward macular degeneration. This is why goji berries fruit number 2 acted a true shield. Goji berries are one of the richest natural sources of zeaxanthin. Unlike lutein, which mainly protects the peripheral retina, zeaxanthin concentrates directly in the macula. It positions itself exactly when your central vision is under attack. Zeaxanthin functions like armor for your central eyesight. It filters blue light, reduces cellular damage, and slows the progression of macular degeneration. Without enough zeaxanthin, your macula is like a city with no roof, constantly eroded, day after day, without you realizing it. A study published in Nutrients in 2021 followed adults aged 60 to 80 who consumed 5 tablespoons of dried goji berries 5 days per week for 90 days. The results were clear. Macular pigment density increased significantly, and not a single participant showed worsening of macular degeneration during the study period. Note: dosage, duration, outcomes. This was not subjective improvement. These were measurable changes inside the retina. The method matters. Soak 2 tablespoons of dried goji berries in warm water for about 10 minutes, then eat them 30 minutes before bed. Soaking improves digestion and absorption. Eating them dry reduces effectiveness and strains digestion. There is one critical enhancement: pair them with a small piece of dark chocolate, at least 85% cacao. Flavonoids in cocoa increase zeaxanthin absorption, creating a powerful synergistic effect for the macula. This is not for taste, it is a targeted strategy to protect your central vision. If you fear a day when you can no longer read messages, if you fear not recognizing the faces of people you love from a few feet away, that fear is not irrational. It is the future of many people who ignore their macula until it is too late. Used consistently and correctly, goji berries can help protect central vision, allowing you to see faces clear, read small text, and maintain confidence in everyday life. If you wake up in the morning and the world looks like it covered in a haze, if light no longer feels sharp, if colors seem dull, I'll be direct. Glycation is happening inside your eyes, and it is clouding your lens from the inside out. Glycation occurs when sugar in your bloodstream binds to proteins in the eye, forming sticky, rigid compounds that cloud the lens, blur the retina, and destroy contrast sensitivity. This is one of the most overlooked causes of morning blur, dull vision, and the early stages of cataracts in older adults. No pain, no warning, but steady progression. Here, the truth most people don't want to hear. 97% of people eat papaya the raw way, and by doing so, they destroy the very compound shown to delay cataract formation by up to 40%. Note study percentage. Papaya is not just a fruit. Papaya is a biological tool if used correctly. The key compound is papain, a natural enzyme that breaks down glycated proteins. In simple terms, papain helps dissolve the sticky buildup that clouds your lens. It doesn't mask symptoms, it targets the mechanism causing the clouding. Therefore, papaya is rich in vitamins A, C, E, and folate, a combination proven to stabilize the tear film, protect the retina, and slow age-related vision decline. Note mechanism of action. Without these nutrients, eyes dry out, blur increases, and nighttime repair fail. A study published in Clinical Gerontology in 2023 found that older adults who ate papaya in the evening for 6 weeks showed reduced glycation markers, increased tear production, and significantly improved contrast sensitivity, note duration, and outcomes. For people with dry eyes, morning blur, or early-stage cataracts, this was described as breakthrough-level improvement. But this only works if you follow the rules exactly. Eat 1 cup of ripe, fresh papaya 1 hour before bed at room temperature, not cold. Papaya loses activity below 50 from note enzyme condition. Take papaya out of the refrigerator 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Colded papaya shuts the enzyme down before it can work. Never combine papaya with milk or dairy products. Dairy inhibits papaya. This combination cancels the benefit entirely. Want to enhance the effect? Drizzle fresh lime juice over the papaya. Vitamin C from lime boosts vitamin A absorption, strengthening protection for both the retina and the lens. This is not a trick, it's biochemistry. If you are standing at the crossroads between long-term clear vision and future cataract surgery, papaya may be the deciding factor. Not because it's natural, but because it targets glycation, the process silently destroying your eyes every night. This is fruit number 1 because if you do it wrong, you lose everything. But if you do it right, you may preserve the clarity of your vision for many more years. You can eat the right fruits, but if you eat them the wrong way, almost all of the benefits are wiped out. I'll be blunt. Most people fail not because they lack information, but because they break these 5 basic rules. Rule 1. Never eat fruit with calcium-rich foods. When fruits high in lutein and zeaxanthin are eaten with milk, yogurt, or calcium-fortified cereals, absorption of these eye-protective pigments can drop by up to 30%. Note 2021 research data. That means you're eating the fruit, but your eyes aren't getting the nutrients. Fruit must be eaten as standalone snack at least 90 minutes away from dairy-based meals. Otherwise, you are locking the absorption door shut. Rule 2. Always include a small amount of healthy fat. Most eye-protective nutrients are fat-soluble. Without fat, your body cannot add them properly. A few walnuts, almonds, a teaspoon of flaxseed oil, or a slice of avocado is enough. This simple step can increase absorption by more than 50%. Note, absorption efficiency. Skip this and your eyes lack the raw materials they need to repair themselves at night. Rule 3. Rinse gently, never scrub. The strongest antioxidants sit right on the fruit skin, especially in blueberries and black currants. Aggressive washing under strong running water literally strips these compounds away. Rinse gently under cool water, pat dry, and wash only right before eating. Washing hours in advance allows nutrients to degrade. Rule 4. Cold fruit shuts down enzyme. Many enzymes critical for eye health do not function at low temperatures. A prime example is papain and papaya. Below 50 Bf, this enzyme is largely inactive. Note, biological condition. Take fruit out of the refrigerator 30-60 minutes before eating. Cold fruit fills your stomach but does nothing for your eyes. Rule 5. Timing determines effectiveness. Eat fruit too early, and nutrients are flushed out before the eyes enter their repair cycle. Eat too late, and digestion interferes with deep sleep. The optimal window is 60-90 minutes before bedtime. This ensures nutrients are present exactly when the retina begins its nighttime repair process. Ignore even one of these rules, and you may be undoing your effort without realizing it. Follow them correctly, and fruit stops being ordinary food. It becomes a biological tool, working quietly through the night to protect and restore your vision. I need you to understand a hard truth. Blurry vision is not an inevitable part of aging. It is the result of silent damage happening every single night. Every night that passes, your eyes are either repairing themselves or deteriorating. There is no neutral state. If you don't actively intervene, the decline continues, even if you wear glasses, use eye drops, or tell yourself to just accept it. A special report from the American Foundation for the Blind sounds a serious alarm. About 250 older adults in the United States begin losing their eyesight every single day. That is 91,000 people every year, note statistics. And the most painful part is this: most of these cases could have been prevented if action had been taken earlier. Not next week, not next month. The window to act is tonight. I want you to do something simple. Close your eyes for 3 seconds. Now. And your vision becoming 30% clearer overnight. Not perfect, just noticeably clearer. Open your eyes. What is the very